Alright, so this is a Malayan or blue krait, and this is drop for drop the most toxic snake in Thailand by a long shot.
The next chapter of our Thailand adventure takes us to the luscious rainforests of southern Thailand, and more specifically, the banks of a shallow river which winds through a valley. Stream and riversides always have a high concentration of snakes due to an abundance of prey, so they're great places to search.
Alright, so at first we weren't going to film with these, but then we found a few more species of the same genus, and I thought it would be a cool video to show you guys this beautiful family of snakes called Dendrolaphus. These are referred to as the Bronzebacks. There's very many species of them, and they're all somewhat similar in appearance and shape, but of course, if you look at the individual species, you'll see that they are quite different and unique. This one is the striped Bronzeback, Dendrolaphus cordelineatus. This is only a juvenile. These will get to about a meter.
1.5 meters, sometimes 1.6.
Yeah, so they can get quite large. This one is exceptionally pretty, really nice red, orange colors on here. Typical for juveniles. As they grow older, they'll start to fade a little bit more, but these are still, even as adults, one of the most beautiful bronzebacks in my opinion. And they have these huge eyes. They're very visual hunters that, again, spot their prey and hunt it down rather than use their scent to locate the prey. Compared to the other bronzebacks, these ones actually have much larger, sharper teeth, which are adapted for grabbing onto small, slippery skinks, whereas the other bronzebacks would much more readily eat frogs and agamid lizards, which have a much rougher skin and are easier to grab.
And you can see I felt the full force of this on my hand when I caught this guy.
Well, I've been a little luckier than Rupert. He's been quite fidgety, but he hasn't bitten me yet. Hopefully it'll stay that way. We're going to put this one away and show you some of the other species of Dendrolaphus that we've found. Alright, so this is the blue bronzeback, Dendrolaphus cyanochlorus. And as you can see, he's being very defensive. One thing that almost all Dendrolaphus species will do when they're threatened is they will inflate the front half of their body to expose bright coloration in between their scales to work as a warning. And as you can see, the coloration of this one is this bright blue, where it gets its name, blue bronzeback, or Dendrolaphus cyanochlorus. But also these are much more show. Sometimes they'll like sit and open their mouth and flick their tongue quite a lot, but very rarely, as you can see, will they actually end up biting. A lot of snakes will act as if they're about to bite you, but then when you actually get down to it, they're gonna chicken out and not bite you. While this one is extremely beautiful and arguably one of the prettiest, the one we're about to show you next is, according to many people, even more impressive and beautiful than this one. Alright, let me get that one real quick.
Alright, last but not least.
Yeah, this is the elegant or beautiful bronzeback. And he is very fast, which comes with being a lot larger. They can move a lot quicker. And as you can see, they have this very similar, beautiful, twitchy attitude. No, they have these same very similar blue coloration in between the scales, but then if you look along the spinal ridge, they also have these like orange, reddish, very beautiful scales. And they're almost gyroscopic. I can move my hand and the head will just stay in the same place.
That's crazy.
Look.
That could be useful for filming.
Yeah, you can mount a camera on its head and use the snake as a gimbal. They're much more arboreal than the striped bronzeback, which we had earlier, which hunts mainly on the floor. This one is very arboreal. You can see they've got this long prehensile tail that he's using right now to hold on to my wrist. These will live high up in the trees, spend most of their day up in the canopy browsing around, and they'll eat agamiid lizards as well as tree frogs, and I think maybe even tiny birds at this size, because these are one of the larger species of bronzeback.
When nightfall came, we continued our search along the river in hopes of finding a snake very unique to the area.
Green keelback, Rhabdophis nigrosinctus, and he has had a very large meal, as you can see. Extremely large, actually. In fact, I bet there's probably 2 meals in there. Not gonna mess with it overly because I don't want it to end up regurgitating. Very beautiful though, they've got that pinkish coloration on the head and neck, and then they're just greenish with these black bands.
Alright, we're rolling.
So this snake right in front of me here was our target for the area. This is what we came here to find. You may not necessarily recognize what it is immediately, and that's because this species in the area here has a very unusual color and pattern, not at all like they are in any other part of Thailand. This is actually a Malayan or blue krait, Bungarus candidus. Which is by far the most toxic land snake in Thailand. It's said that even with antivenom, about 50% of bites turn out to be fatal. So this is definitely a snake that, despite it being relatively calm right now, I don't want to take any chances with, and I'm going to be very alert at all times to make sure I don't slip up.
Yeah, and this snake is said to kill the most people in Thailand now.
Yeah, it used to be the Malayan pit viper, but antivenom for the Malayan pit viper is very readily available in almost all of the hospitals now, and it's very effective, whereas this, even with antivenom, there's still a very fair chance that you're going to die. It's a very, very powerful presynaptic neurotoxin which binds to your neurons basically, and a lot of the damage that it inflicts will be permanent even if you do get treatment with antivenom. The antivenom doesn't necessarily reverse the effects of the venom, it only stops the effects from getting worse. So if you get bitten by the snake and take several hours to get to hospital, the effects that would have developed by then will remain, and the antivenom will just stop it from getting any worse.
So what's some examples of effects you can have?
Well, one very scary effect that is possible from this snake is called locked-in syndrome, where your entire body becomes paralyzed, you're not able to move anything, but you're conscious, you're fully aware of everything. You can hear, you can see if your eyes are open, but you're not able to move or respond in any way, which I think is a very scary thought. I don't know if I could be able to deal with that.
And the other outcome is death.
Death, yeah.
So besides the rapid effects of the venom, why do so many people get bitten by this species? Because it seems to be really calm.
Well, they're very common around human dwellings. Of course, they're not necessarily a snake that requires pristine rainforest. You can find them anywhere that has water and sort of rocks where there's a lot of other snakes around, because they feed almost exclusively on other snakes. So they're relatively common near human dwellings, and they're nocturnal, so a lot of the time when people are walking at night, they don't see it and they step on it. Or they also come into homes, and very similar to the common krait of India, they've actually been known sometimes to come into people's beds and stuff if the house isn't snake-proof, in search of heat on cooler nights. Yeah, it can end very badly, because a lot of the time you don't even realize you've been bit, because with snakes that are very neurotoxic and don't have any hemo or cytotoxic components, the bite is relatively painless, and if you're not specifically aware that you've been bit, you wouldn't even feel it until you start developing symptoms, which is often when it's too late.
But this isn't just a one-off individual, is it?
No, I've actually seen photos from other herpers who've been to this very small area that we're in right now, who have also found very unusual looking Malayan kraits. So there's definitely something to it that the kraits in the area here are very weird, abnormal looking. It might be like another cryptic subspecies that's not yet described. It's definitely a very weird feeling to be handling a krait with such abnormal pattern, because it doesn't even look like a typical Malayan krait, but...
In fact, I'd say it looks more like the Indian krait.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't at all look like the species that it is, but you can tell that it's definitely a krait by the enlarged hexagonal scales along the spine, which is a telltale sign that it's a krait and not one of the mimics. That was close. Alright, so he's getting a little bit jumpy and agitated now. So we're gonna release him. Just here we got some footage, we got video, photos. Yeah, awesome snake, super happy to have found this. Definitely really awesome. We're gonna just, before he gets too agitated, we're gonna let him go right here where he's gonna be able to hunt for water snakes. They love these rocky stream habitats. So yeah, we're just gonna let him go on his way.
Wow, what a find, dude.
Awesome.
Hey guys, Rupert here, the guy behind the camera. I hope you enjoyed this newest video. We got new videos out every single week from now on, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Check the link in the description to see a video of a normal Malayan krait, or head over to the David's Feet Instagram account where you can see spoilers for upcoming videos. Trust me, there's some good stuff.